Jack had been trapped in the car for several days now, and his water had long since run out. He had no choice but to urinate in a container, and the pungent smell nearly made him vomit, but he could only hold his nose and choke it down. Food was an even bigger problem. He had to tear up paper from inside the car just to have something in his stomach. How had he ended up in such a desperate situation? Because he was a car thief. Just a few days ago, he had set his sights on this vehicle, but after he finished ransacking all the valuable items inside, he discovered he was completely locked in, unable to move. Jack quickly crawled to the back seat and tried to kick out the rear window, but it was no use. He pressed the start button. Nothing. He grabbed a metal pipe and smashed it against the windows. Still nothing. He even pried open the door handle, but the moment he stuck his hand inside, it got cut up and blood poured out. Jack panicked and decided to try the floor. With his last shred of hope, he pulled up the carpet, only to find a thick steel plate underneath. In a rage, Jack pulled out his gun and fired at the window. The bullet ricocheted and hit his thigh, sending him into screaming agony. Jack gritted his teeth and tore off his shirt to bandage the wound. Just then, a woman walked by. He shouted for help, but she seemed completely unable to see him. He grabbed his phone to call for rescue, but the moment he put it to his ear, the battery died. Jack was completely devastated. He spent a sleepless night in the car, the leg wound keeping him awake. The next day, he didn't even have water to drink, so he could only lick the glass and keep trying to pry open the doors. Suddenly, the car's display screen lit up. Someone was calling, and it was actually the car owner. It turned out this car had been stolen many times before, so the owner had installed a remote alarm system that could lock the doors at any moment. The car wasn't just equipped with comprehensive anti-theft measures, it was also filled with gasoline, and if the owner wanted to, he could blow Jack to pieces at any time. And now, the game had begun. The car owner asked over the phone, "If you caught your own son stealing, what would you do?" Jack was in no mood for games and cursed the guy as a lunatic. The car owner said, "Wrong answer." As punishment, he turned on the air conditioning and cranked the temperature down to freezing. The cold was bone-chilling, and Jack started shivering. He tore apart the shirt he'd used to bandage his wound and put it on, then ripped up his pants to rebandage the injury. He grabbed the floor mat to cover the air vents and even stuffed newspapers into the cracks. However, the car owner had no intention of killing him outright. Instead, he turned off the AC and made another call. This time, he wanted Jack to give his name and social security number, and if he answered honestly, he'd get a small reward. Jack was too weak to resist and could only comply. Sure enough, he was rewarded with half a bottle of water. Following the instructions, he made his way to the trunk, grabbed the half bottle of water, and drank it all in one gulp. The next day, Jack's whole body felt weak, and he developed a high fever. He begged the car owner for mercy, saying he not only had a fever, but his thigh wound was also becoming infected. But the car owner still wasn't planning to let him go. He just turned on the heat and raised the temperature slightly to keep him from dying. Jack passed out. When he woke up, his body felt somewhat better, but the hunger was driving him nearly insane.